Hi, my name's Adam. I'm a member at Equip Fitness in Richland, Washington. This is the 8th workout of the Golgotha experience titled Kissed. If you've ever heard the saying, betrayed by a kiss, this is where it comes from. One of Jesus' closest friends, Judas, betrayed him into the hands of people who wanted Jesus dead. Let's hear the story. Matthew 26:47-50. While Jesus was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, suddenly arrived. A large mob with swords and clubs was with him from the chief priests and the elders of the people. His betrayer had given them a sign. The one I kiss, he's the one. Arrest him. So immediately he went up to Jesus and said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. "Friend," Jesus asked him, "why have you come?" And then they came up, took a hold of Jesus, and arrested him. The Bible gives us a few reasons for why this tragedy happened. And one of them is the power of greed. Judas stood to make some money on the deal, and for a moment, it seemed worth it to him. The Bible also says that Satan influenced Judas to do this, a reminder that Satan is a real power and force that influences us, attacking us when we're weak. Judas and Satan had their reasons, but the Bible also says that God used their evil purposes for good. That Jesus' betrayal ultimately led him to a cross where he died for the world that had betrayed him. And this is where Jesus' focus was as this group came to arrest him. He didn't yell at Judas. He didn't fight the arrest. He didn't put on a show of force like he could have. Jesus knew his purpose and he stayed faithful to it. He chose another way. The story goes on. It says, at that moment, one of those with Jesus reached out his hand and drew his sword, and he struck the high priest's servant and cut off his ear. And then Jesus told him, "Put your sword back in its place, because all who take up the sword will perish by the sword. Or do you think that I cannot call on my Father, and he'll provide me here and now with more than 12 legions of angels? How then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen this way?" At that time, Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come out with swords and clubs as if I were a criminal to capture me? Every day I used to sit teaching in the temple and you didn't arrest me, but all this has to happen so that the writings of the prophets would be fulfilled." And then all the disciples deserted him and ran away. It's important to remember that Jesus had access to all the power in the world. He's the Son of God. He said that he could call on his Father and he'd send enough angels to fill a professional football stadium to fight on his defense if he wanted. That's 12 legions. It's around 60 to 70,000. And the angels would have been there at the snap of a finger. In another gospel, it says that as soon as Jesus identified himself, everyone fell back on the ground without even Jesus touching them. Jesus wouldn't even need the angels to take these guys down. But here's what's incredible. Instead of channeling all his power to take down these people, he channeled it to heal and forgive the world. He told Peter to put the sword away. He allowed them to arrest him, try him, and eventually put him on the cross. And as Jesus hung on the cross, Satan and the demons truly believed they had won. The religious leaders thought that they had made Jesus' problem go away. Whatever members of the Roman Empire wanted Jesus to disappear sighed in relief. What they didn't know is that Jesus was giving his life for the life of the world, to be betrayed so that he could forgive and restore his betrayers. That's us. The movements of this next workout will help us reflect on this truth about Jesus. It's 6 rounds of 12 step-back lunges and 12 hang dumbbell snatches. Instead of lunging toward his enemies, Jesus took the low place. And we're going to do the same thing as we lunge backward to our knee. Not long after this, Jesus raised his arms not with a fist or with a sword, but with pierced hands. He hung on the cross with his arms stretched out in blessing on his enemies. And so as we move the dumbbells up into a snatch, let's remember this. These movements also help us to worship. As we lunge back in humility, we kneel before the King who gave his life for us. As we lift up our hands and remember Jesus' pierced hands, we bless and we give thanks to the King of Kings.